can be kind of the middle of the pack map. Nitro did mention it's a map that they're okay playing, but they still haven't really kind of locked it down as a solid map. So if you're Liquid right now, and looking at the odds, everything is favoring them, but you still want to close this one out 2-0. Because let's be real, Liquid are the huge favorites in this particular matchup.
Well, I had them in my pick'ems. I think a lot of people did.
Me too.
That their raw firepower, that core, would really carry them through. But that's enough chitter-chatter. We are ready to get live in our very first map of Ancient. Liquid kicking things off on the T side, and Complexity on that CT side, hoping and praying that on Liquid's choice of map, they can have a solid start to things. The early aggression coming out on the ramp side of the map, and it will see Liquid slowing down a little bit, but they're about to get pressured in. And Junior, the man we were just talking about, has laid them to waste. 3 quick kills for the USP. It's only Nitro that bounces back with his P250 by his side. Won't be getting a second. And Complexity, just through raw aggression, have picked up the first round.
This double doors just getting festooned with the bodies of Liquid there. And Junior, I mean, I had to say it. I had to say he has been a liability, but this round, a laser beam with that USP, just sniping away all the members of Liquid and just catching them off guard. He was just trying to go for a very fast play towards the ramp area on the B bomb site, maybe trying to go for a flank. But we never even had a chance to see what Liquid really up to. Just getting absolutely bodied very early on. Now, Ancient, a map that is, of course, heavily CD-sided, and that's the one advantage Complexity do have. It being Liquid's map pick means that Complexity will have the choice of side. And of course, they are going to be going for this CD pick. If you look at the buy for Liquid, well, they're just going to go for the full eco. No, not a single, just a 1 kill, I do believe it was. And apart from that, no bombs planted. So they're just going to be sticking around with the Glocks. Not a singular investment being made by any of the members on the side of Liquid. There has been a few question marks about Shoxy on this team, right? He has individually been lacking a little bit, so to speak, recently. And also you have the fact that not just individually, but like for a lot of people to point fingers at it, like they're looking at Shox and they're like he kind of is being the bit of the liability for this lineup. But we did have an interview with Nitro where he said, Shoxy, he had a lot to do. He had to travel so much, right? All the way from Europe, all the way back to NA and back again. So it has been a little bit of a rough time for Shoxy, but Nitro did say in the interview that Shoxy seems to have kind of like mentally reset himself. It is feeling much more comfortable. And that is going to be instrumental here. If you look at the individuals on this team, everyone's a legend in their own right. Shoxy, obviously, the amount of the events, tournaments, and majors is one with multiple French lineups. You're talking about the veterans in the form of Nitro and Nav. You're talking about Elige, probably the best player from NA right now, and then have OC, who, honestly, the moment he started in the Liquid, the questions were raised: can he really deliver against top-tier opposition? And he's answered all of us. This guy is legit.
Oh, he's very legit. And speaking of that AWP clash, we're expecting to see OC with that weapon many a time in this game. As it stands, though, as a result of no purchase in the previous round, as Blair touched on, with only the 1 frag with the P250 in the hands of Nitro, they have finally got themselves some AK-47s to run with. Complexity in their bonus round, getting aggressive down with the MP9. The only SMG they possess. They do have a couple of FAMASs thrown in the mix as well. HE could be good for a bit of chunk damage and decent onto Nitro. He'll be in that headshot range now of the M4s and the FAMAS if he's unlucky enough to push in. But things slowing down again as Liquid feel out their options. Interestingly as well, Blair, yesterday when we were casting G2 and ENCE, a consistent hotbed of contestation was mid over and over and over again. It's still very early days, of course. I'm curious if Liquid are going to toy with that a little bit later on.
Yeah, for me, I've watched Complexity's CD side multiple times, and I do enjoy what JT does for his team. Right, a lot of aggressive mid and mid contestation. He likes poking and prodding, making things very uncomfortable for his opposition. Right now, though, they use up all the utility, and that's actually bought them a lot of time. So Liquid, they have to now make sure that none of these if you look at the amount of map control they have, it's minimal, right? They have no eyes as to where the remaining CTs could be. But for the CTs, unfortunately, all they have is 1 Molotov to work with, a couple of flashes, and here comes the hit from Liquid. They're going to be deploying all the utility as they charge on into this B bomb site.
An island in amongst the liquid fire of the Molotovs is clumped together. Floppy and JT. Fang, Grim just behind them, but they're going to get swarmed. This is where the AK should prevail, but Fang says no. 2 kills with him and Floppy alongside. alongside him. 2-play-3, although Grim is exceptionally low. But Shox is making moves round the back. The bomb has been planted. He needed OC to survive a bit longer, but he is sneaking around like a coiled viper, ready to spring into action. And Junior and Floppy have no idea. The only downside for Shox is that the bomb is not planted for his position, but he doesn't even have to give his spot away right now. Now he's hearing they're tickling the bomb. First frag down, and there is Shox. Pure experience, pure tenure, and the results to match.
Ice in his veins, Vince. Ice in his veins. There was a world there where a less experienced player might have just gone for the shots, right? And then it would have been a 1v1, and then it could have gone either way. But great play coming in from Liquid there. They took the sweet time, went for the execute, and even though Fang finds a double in complexity, had the man advantage, Shoxy, the veterancy shining through, playing that one to perfection. And with that for complexity, though, considering how flawless the couple of rounds they won were, they will still have a very, very solid buy. No AWP yet for Junior, however. Decent bit of utility, but you can see clearly they have 3 smokes remaining. That's it. So they're looking to get this map control early on and try and find something with it. And Liquid are doing a pretty damn job just being patient, right? There's no need to force a matter. If you look at the previous round, we saw Complexity use up all their utility early on, and Liquid were able to walk into the bomb site and deploy their own utility to get the bomb down. So, similar fashion, which how these rounds are playing out. The only difference being, they do have Floppy sticking around towards the, just outside of Jaguar. He also has backup in the form of Junior nearby towards ramp. Elige, though, he finds Floppy, and that's a huge pick. No trades possible, and now Liquid, they're going to group up together. This A bomb site, you can see the rotation as well. Fang is heading slowly, creeping, crawling all the way towards B, and it's all on Junior. M4 in hand against 5 members heading his direction.
Grim in the temple will be waiting and anticipating for this push. Flash proceeds to peek, allows him safe passage, and Grim has gone down. OC lays him to rest alongside Nitro, and that A defense has crumbled under the smallest pressure. Excellent news on the side of Liquid. Junior will keep himself alive, and more importantly, the M4 going through into the next round, or so he hopes, alongside JT, who will be aggressed on momentarily from Elige. So this round is Liquid's. That much has already been dialed in. It's now just a question of how many weapons Complexity can take out of this one, because their money is in the dumps. They have nothing going through into that next round. Unfortunately, Complexity don't have any sidearms on JT or Junior, so this next round, whatever kind of positive spin you put on it, Blair, is going to kind of suck.
It's going to suck. I'm envisioning them going for just a full eco, maybe a CC, a couple of P250s. Even then, I'd like to see them just go for the complete full eco here. Just try and play around the 2 rifles in the hands of JT and Junior. You see like $2,000 on average, almost $1,900 on average on all the 3 surviving members. So even if they go for a P250, it is going to hamper a buy. They go to the next round. You want to have that little bit of extra utility. Maybe could be a flash, could be an extra Molotov or incendiary being afforded. As we do have attack timeout getting called here by Complexity. I was having a chat with the coach of Complexity, JC, yesterday at the hotel lobby, and it was like, you know what, we're feeling pretty comfortable against Liquid. You know, even though they are on paper heavily favored, it is a domestic matchup, right? And sure, Liquid have had Complexity's numbers recently in the past, but they do scrim against each other quite often, a lot. And, you know, when you play against each other so often, you see this even in EU as well, like, you know, these domestic derbies between some of the Danish teams and whatnot, where the underdog sometimes pulls off the upset. But if Complexity were to do so, what a time, right? This is an elimination matchup, mind you, to stay alive at the major. And there we go. Pretty much almost a full eco. Floppy will have a 5-7. Grim with the P250. Apart from that, just the 2 M4s to work with. They haven't even purchased any extra utility, keeping the money even so they can go for a United buy later on. Floppy tucked into the corner, Jaguar. A 5-7. It's actually going to be JT as the bait. And a 5-7, Vince, at this range can be deadly, especially in the hands of the flop.
In the hands of the flop, indeed. And as he said, he's playing anti-flash alongside JT. If he can open things up, could get interesting. Molotov, though, oh, that's going to wreck this tactic. Floppy has to come out. He gets one. That Molotov completely ruined everything that Complexity were banking on. Excellently placed, and the rest of the round should fall into place. Only the one rifle remaining, of course, in the hands of Junior, who has had a good start to this game. 6-2 is good to see. Mostly where we start to get a little bit apprehensive about his performances is actually when he has the AWP. Because it's such an integral, expensive weapon, there are days where he goes missing. I'm hoping this is one of those days he shows the world what he's truly capable of. Because listen, down in like Tier 2, when I used to cast this guy, he was smurfing. He was outrageously good with the AWP. So I'd love to see that form again.
Yeah, there was always a caveat that, ooh, the bullet's just grazing the back of Grim's head, and he actually gets the dink, but unfortunately not quite able to confirm the kill. If I'm Junior, I hold on to his M4A1, which he will indeed. I have to agree with you. I think, you know, you and I have actually casted quite a few of these the matches of this lineup of all the players you see on this team. And Junior, and you can even say the same for OC as well, right? When it comes to NA, the Americas, those two players were phenomenal. And sometimes people were even mentioning Junior's name alongside OC. And the difference being, once OC, you know, went abroad and started playing some of the bigger names, and then Junior when started playing for Fury, you could clearly see that OC was against stronger opposition and better. There was always a caveat for Junior that he was playing for Fury, a whole different crazy brand of Counter-Strike, the language barrier and all of that. But ever since he joined his Complexity team, it has been a bit disappointing, to put it mildly. Here we go to Complexity with the buy of their own. Still no op for Junior. The Molotov is dealing so much damage on the Shoxy, and Floppy gonna try and find the timing for the wall bang. But Shox, low or not, still somehow finds JT. That is huge find, smack in the middle of the B bomb site, and that's gonna force out a rotation, Vince. Now you have Fang, who's also down to 13 points of health, grouping up with Junior and leaving Grim all alone. In fact, they're all rotating towards the B bomb site. They're just relinquishing the A bomb site and hoping, praying that Liquid head this direction.
It seems like a gamble stack to me, Blair, where they stack B. If they end up getting hit on A, they just save their weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the fact that Fang is low. However, I don't know if it's confirmed damage, but Liquid, they're limping on 2 players, and that's going to be Floppy. Going hard through on ramp, takes 2 players, does a lot of damage onto OC as well. This round falls in the way of Complexity. The gamble stack seems to be working out, but Naf keeps himself alive and drops the nade downtown onto the back of Fang's head. Both remaining players are weakened. Naf's position compromised, but still spins around. I thought Junior might get the shank, but instead he's took a bullet to the head.
It must feel good to be a napper. That looked almost impossible, Vince. A 1 versus 3. He gets the first kill. He's so low in health, and the way he just this instant geometry in his head, triangulating the position of the 2 CTs, perfect nade, and a Junior not expecting Naf to come walking out from the smoke and even getting caught with a knife out in his hand. And this is all after the work being put in by Floppy and Junior. What a nade onto Grim. Oh, that must have just been a jump scare for you. It's so unfortunate. And the money's broken. At least they have enough to eke out some deagles here, but for Liquid, this is about trying to ensure they don't lose many players here. OC's even gone for the AWP. Not a singular player with any, you know, SMGs and whatnot. Probably expecting a forced buy perhaps from Complexity here, as they're slowly going to come creeping, crawling in towards the A side. There's no one around. Utility will be deployed, but the 3 players lying in wait inside a donut.
Unfortunately, though, it's Eagles up close. 1 smoke, 1 incendiary Molotov, and they have been blockaded out, and that's exactly what's coming up. Doing their due diligence, though, Liquid. Dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Taking control over Temple. Smoking off all those choke points. And Complexity, although they had a couple of banana peels laid down and traps that were put into place, Elige bypasses both Floppy and Junior, and Naf showing that last round was just the start of potentially something special. Liquid will be off to a 5-2, that much is guaranteed, and they don't lose a player in the process, so their bank balance now collectively starting to build to a very nice position.
It's looking good right now for Liquid. 5 on the trot. Sure, a couple of rounds were a little scary. The 1v3 from Naf comes to mind, but apart from that, it has been looking pretty damn clean for the Liquid side. Sure, we had a Shoxy clutch as well earlier on, the 1v2, but it rounds against some of the pistols. They're not really making any misstep, right? Keeping majority of players alive. Like you pointed out, the money's looking good as well. Molotov smoke's getting deployed, and Liquid just with utility usage and the fast pace being set here by Shoxy. Wresting control of mid from Complexity. Although it did feel like a half-hearted attempt from Complexity, they really weren't looking to commit to this mid duel. So they do expend a little bit of utility, and they will fall on back. I'm not sure if Fang spot the player across, but doesn't matter. JT will find Shocks. So at least something going the way of Complexity early on. For Liquid, though, a lot of pressure towards mid, and slowly they will be falling back towards the B bomb site. But the timing here, you can see Junior and Floppy slowly starting to creep and crawl. Junior's got the AWP in hand. Floppy up close to the boxes, and Liquid still a minute to work with. And the moment the smoke starts to rain into the B bomb site, what's Floppy going to do?
They have the bait and switch, so even if Floppy goes down, Junior should, in theory, be able to alleviate at least one of these players. But it's about utility. If a flash comes over, similar to what we saw in a previous round in Jaguar with that Molotov, it completely dissects and crushes their stats, but they've gone in for their own counter flash. It's worked out beautifully now for Complexity. 3 kills in quick succession, puts Naf into a 1-on-4. He may have clutched earlier, but this was way too tall a task. And finally, Complexity are back on the board.
Great decision from Floppy there. The moment he saw he heard the nades being lobbed in, he knew that he could potentially catch a couple of players with the nades in their hands, not having equipped their rifles. So great work. There we go. Just perfect timing. And for Liquid, they weren't aware of that, right? They weren't ready for a player to push on in. I do believe OC was actually, I'm not sure if he was tossing a nade or he was holding the angle, but still, nonetheless, great round for Complexity. Finally winning a rifle round. And that too, having a lot of players left alive. Grim rattling off bullets in the smoke. The nade's gonna it's gonna deal a bit of damage onto its 4 members. As Liquid once more, leaving Shocks this time around all the way towards the double doors, waiting for any play. This is interesting from Liquid. They're going to be going for kind of like a double-pronged attack on either side. All the Naf, not really showing himself. He's going to be very passive here. The bomb in the back of OC, just slowly creeping and crawling their way towards Donut. I do wonder what their final game plan is. Still a minute on the clock to work with.
Oh, Grim's position just gets out into the open, nearly gets picked off. Nitro pressing the button, pushing in. There's a team kill. Unleash takes down his IGL, and now Junior goes from strength to strength as he carves a path through the oncoming T's. Fang, able to survive, pushes back into the donut, and not only that, but takes the bomb with him. OC's life is deemed forfeit, and Shocks, who's gone unseen so far, has stealth going in his favor, has now been compromised at the cost of Fang's life, has time to now traverse back over on the B side, and considering that both of the CTs are on A, he will get this bomb plant down. And at that point, if he can get it down quickly, obviously he doesn't have that information and the benefit of seeing what we do, then things get very interesting in a post-plant for Shocks. He's a cerebral player. He has been in these positions so many times in the past, and a plant will be forthcoming. He's already got 1 clutch today, and where does he decide to relocate to? Back into ramp. He slowly slithers his way in towards construction side. He is sprung and put that poison, that venom into Complexity before. Do they have the antidote this time around? Molly into the cave. Now he has to show his hand. Grenade out. Here comes Shocks. They're trying to go in the defuse in the smoke. Not required because JT, the perfect bodyguard. Complexity get 4.
Maybe there was a little bit of miscomms perhaps for Liquid. It looked like Shocks maybe was trying to get a kill with the nade, but the moment the nade was lobbed in, they knew exactly where he was, and of course the smoke as well obscuring his vision. Nice attempt though from Shocks, and for Complexity, I'm not going to really blame them. They stuck together instead of separating and playing the bomb sites as individuals where the trade potential would have been non-existent. They instead group up together, stick together, and they win a very crucial round. Honestly, I felt like that round should have been much more comfortable for Complexity, but Shocks almost pulling off yet another clutch. As we do have attack timeout getting called here by Liquid. Money is still not bad at all. OC a little bit low in cash. But if they do want to drop him an AWP, Elise can do so. Instead, I guess it might just be the AWPs. Sorry, the AK-47s. Never mind. The op will be dropped into the hands of OC. Well, Elise taking 1 for the team. He's got a Galil in hand. Complexity, though. Signs of life from Junior, man. Those are some very, very good shots coming out. And that was some combat opping as well right inside of that A bomb site.
People have been on his back for a while. There's been rumors, there's been speculation as to what his future in this team is. I think this would be a perfect opportunity for him to stand tall and say, listen, I can perform at this level. I deserve to be here. This is his moment. If Complexity get knocked out 1 and 3, I don't know if he stays in this team. I don't know if this team stays as 5. So this is a huge opportunity for Complexity, for Junior in particular, to show the world what they possess, that they deserve to be at Tier 1 Counter-Strike, they deserve to be at Majors, and they can actually stand and fight against some of the best players that the planet has to offer.
You got to remember as well, this is one of the youngest teams in this tournament. Spirit might be the youngest, if I'm not mistaken. Complexity are the second youngest as well, as JT finds a leash. Junior sticking around for maybe a little bit longer than necessary, as OC... Oh, okay, JT. He is toying with fire. And Junior now inside of Jaguar. He spots the elbow, tags Nitro through the wall. Down to 17 HP. But Complexity doing a good job, still keeping all 5 alive. Great flashbang there, but JT, he needs to win that duel. Floppy finds Nitro with shock with a quick trade. Junior with a whiff shot, and suddenly this B bomb side, the defense is starting to crumble, but they won't be expecting Fang, who's going to find Shocks walking in through the smoke, and a 2v2 will ensue.
2-on-2. Players are healthy across the board. This post-plant, though, will favor Liquid. There is a bit of utility. Smoke up and over. That's going to be banking off the wall onto the ramp side. That will leave Cave open for business. But OC bypasses the smoke. Spots the first player that misses his shot. And now the spray from Naf is off. Complexity, with Guardian Angels coming down and protecting them from multiple bullets coming their way, are going to get their 3rd in a row. This is now turning into a very interesting game. I've got to say, though, I thought Liquid might have that round.
Liquid, yeah, they really should have had that round. What they weren't expecting was Fang tucked inside a short, right? They found 3 kills on a B bomb site. That is just unreasonable from JT. I love the flashbang, I love the trading coming out, and they weren't expecting the 4th player being tucked in, which was Fang. I'm not a big fan of Shocks walking in through the smoke there, but I guess I can understand, right? He wasn't expecting another player to be so close by, and once he fell down, a couple of whiff shots from OC, someone you'd be expecting to hit those shots, he went into the bomb site trying to avoid the smoke, and here comes a faster play from Liquid. They just have the pistols to work with here, as Shocks will take down his own teammate, and it's gonna be an easy mop-up for JT and Floppy. 6-5 is Complexity. They get the lead. All right.
Bruh, we've had 2 team kills already on the side of Liquid. You can probably forgive that one, as they were all clumped up on ramp, just rushing together, and you can't take any chances. Ironically, I think it was a Liege that team killed Nitro earlier, and now he's the player that's getting team killed off Shocks. So Karma perhaps falling into the server. Complexity, though, in amongst all of that frenzy, have taken the lead. 6-5. They maneuver into, and Liquid getting aggressive on 2 fronts simultaneously. So many grenades and Molotovs littering the map as it stands, but a bit of aggression. Haven't seen this yet from Complexity. Grim's gone into A main, all by his lonesome. Very forward positions here based off spawns, and this is going to do the world of good. This bait and switch yields 1 frag. They don't need to overstay the welcome, but OC gets dinked on the cross, down to 10 HP. There's the smoke, they survive. Exquisite play from Complexity.
Yeah, after the amount of, aggression they've showcased on towards the B bomb side, good read from Complexity that, hey, you know what, Liquid might start to poke and prod towards the A bomb side, having the double man set up over there. And as you pointed out, Vince, the dink is well onto OC. Gonna make life pretty uncomfortable here for Liquid. For Liquid, the 5 rounds is still very, very solid here on the T side of Ancient, right? But they would be looking for more. They would 100% be looking to end this half at least maybe 7 rounds perhaps. But right now, things are looking a bit dicey for Nitro and his merry men. All gonna be grouping up again here together. We have a Leech looking for any aggression towards mid from the CTs, and JT being, again, proactive. Flashbang in hands of Junior, gonna pop. That's gonna be JT looking to take the fight, trying to go for the wall, but he's running out of bullets. So, but somehow he finds 3! How does he find 3 kills? And the Leech left alone now in a 1 versus 5. He will find Junior, but JT gets away with bloody murder. What the hell was that, Vince? That was an ace as well.
the good old lineup, and he will happily capitalize on that complexity, as you can see at the top of your screen, and now on fire, meaning they've won 5 rounds in a row from 2-5 to 7-5 in the lead. And keep in mind how grim this situation was looking at one stage. They won the pistol, they converted, and then Liquid went on this 5-round tear. Complexity now turning the tides in their favor, and the buy on Liquid is pretty awful. Scout, pistols, golden opportunity for Complexity to get themselves a string of more rounds, get that 10-5 half, and things look a whole lot better for them.
I love that from JT, right? Not just was he calling that round, but he got the first kill in A-halls and then rotates all the way back towards ramps, just trying to be a little bit proactive and just finishes things off with the ace. Great stuff from the IGL of Complexity. And it's starting to wake up here. This time around is going to be the execute coming in towards the A bomb site. 2 players lying wait. Junior, AWP in hand, and he's got Grim as well.
Oh, Elise is just completely manhandled him with the scout, and now the T's spill out onto the site, makes Grim's situation so much more dire. And then Leech picks up the second. The second they lose the first player, everything comes apart at the seams. The Fang is trying to put it together, stitch back up the weakened Complexity CT side. JT and Floppy, last man standing. But it's going to be Floppy that connects first. Bomb spilled out, have to come pick this one up. Belege is still alive. He started the round off, and he's still very much in this. OC with the AWP, his weapon of choice, makes it work. Flash out, tries to go for the peak alongside Elige, and Elige gets his 3K with the scout. Liquid steal this round away from Complexity.
That's what Elige can do. That is what Elige can do, no matter what weaponry he's got. And you preamble the fact that the buy was rough, Vince. You said the buy was rough for Liquid. It was a half buy. A few pistols. The scout was the only rifle in their hands, and Elise just plucks the head of Junior. He didn't even get a chance to rattle off a single shot, and then the AWP gets picked up by OC, finds a crucial second kill as well, and then things just start to crumble there for Complexity. Fortunately for them, despite a few of the rounds being kind of close, they still have quite a bit of money to work with, so you have the double AWP setup coming out now. Junior with the AWP. We know where it's going to be posted towards. Grim as well. We have seen, during the early days of Ancient, we've seen teams try to go for the double AWP setup, which sometimes can work, but if you're going to get the bomb, if you have to go for the retakes, it gets very, very grim indeed. So I do wonder how this one's going to play out still. Just a couple more rounds remaining in this half. You can see smiles abound for the side of Liquid. Round number 14, penultimate round here of this first half. The map pick of Liquid. Complexity lead by a sliver.
As Liquid should be smiling, they know they just embarked in daylight robbery stealing that round. As you said, though, completely correctly, double AWPs can work. But if OC has the drop on Junior as he slowly walks his way through mid, that will make this proposal so much more tentative for Complexity. Spread out that little bit more thin. They're being more proactive. Already sending off Floppy, who was playing on construction all the way back round to A side. That will leave them vulnerable and shaking elsewhere on the map. Mid control now coming in. I was curious how much we were going to see this as the latter rounds came to fruition. And now Liquid are changing up the pace, but there is the second AWP. Grim nails Nitro.
The timing. Brings out a Molotov the worst time possible and shocks. He reads perfectly, waits for Grim to peek, and he will find his head. So bringing it down to equilibrium here, all Liquid, 3 versus 3. The smokes will be deployed. But it's not great. Fang trying to find one he should. In fact, it's going to be JT to find Shocks. Flash is going to blind Fang, but there's nothing he can do. Down to OC, 1v3. JT making a sound. And OC finds Floppy. He knows where the second player is. He knows where the third is as well. And OC, he's going for the clutch here.
He's going for it behind the box. 20 seconds to play with, though, and the bomb in an awkward spot. He knows he has to get this next kill, and it has to be quickly. Has no time to mess about. Now going to be getting in close. Down to 14 HP. Surely this round is now too far gone, and no idea as to where that second pesky CT player resides. Oh, the shot is criminal onto JT. But Fang knows he just has to wait. This round is over. There's not enough time. And to add insult to injury, OC dies afterwards. So Complexity get their 8th. Nice try from OC, though. Like, he nearly pulled that out. You could see a way in which it was going to happen.
JT played it so well. He knew he made a footstep, and he knew that OC knew where his position was, right? And he immediately pivoted towards the bomb site behind the boxes. And OC was so hyper-focused. He was like, there has to be JT still inside of Donut, but that was not the case. Some of these rounds coming down to the wire. The Complexity, Great Resurgences once more. They're going to try and battle for mid. It's going to be Fang and JT together. And JT right now top fragging in the server, Vince. He is leading by example.
Yeah, he's had a phenomenal game. That 3K comes to mind on the double doors, pretty much shuts that down by himself. Flashes over, Junior barely affected by that though. And although the FAMAS does a lot of damage, it doesn't claim any kills. Floppy can go for the wall bang, doesn't connect really anything.
It's
so the
behind the
plant
pillar.
still comes down. Yeah, behind the pillar. He was using it as sanctuary. And now Nitro getting aggressive. They know that their back is vulnerable, or at least the Leash should realize this, because Fang is coming in. He's sneaking his way around the side and pivots into a Leash. And now they realize they're getting encircled from so many different directions. They can't fully focus Shocks, and here's Galil will sing. Grenade is good, but Shocks comes in for 3. And now Fang tries so hard, so desperately, but with 15 HP on Nitro and 6 on OC, they secure their 7th round.
The final round of that half, and Liquid just bring out the contact B play. I love that. They planted the bomb behind the pillar as well because they didn't have control of Jaguar. They're like, there must be a CD there. They attempt to go for the wall bang, unable to find a planter. It got very, very close. That nade could have actually found both the players towards long, but fortune will favor Liquid. And if I'm Liquid, even though, sure, Complexity have the lead, you got to remember this is Ancient. And we know how CD sides can be such a, it's almost insurmountable at times. And Liquid have shown that the CD side is not to be trifled with. With Complexity, though, they've done everything possible despite having that rough start initially. They won the pistol, they won the follow-up, and then we had Liquid go on a bit of a streak. Now, though, let's see what the T side had in store for us here. A couple of smokes and a couple of mollies in the hands of JT and Floppy. And it looks like it's going to be just a plain A hit. Right now, just one member of Liquid holding the line. It is going to be Nitro, the captain, the IGL. He's got no backup anywhere close by. The closest the Legion is all the way towards Red Room.
He is a lone survivor, Nitro. The question really falls down to how many kills, if any, can he pick up on the cross? There's one, still alive, still healthy. And him just staying alive at this point is putting more pressure on the rest of the teams to get up in there. But Grim, instantly decapitating a Liege, takes control over Temple, while Naf and OC are waiting the other side. Temple becomes Grim's final resting place, and now Floppy 1-on-3. They push into him with the Glock. It's tailor-made for these angles, but Shocks from the side will deny any heroics. Liquid tie us back up.
A Temple of Doom there for Complexity. They all grouped up together. They had the Glocks, especially at that range. They even went for the double peek towards CD spawn, not expecting the rotation to be so very quick. All the CTs, all the Liquid members coming in from spawn and just running on in. Great shots coming out there. And for Nitro, even though he falls, he does get that one kill. And then, of course, the other members more than capable of finishing that one off. Complexity, they would have felt very comfortable there, honestly, Vince. They get the bomb down, they have the man advantage, they're all grouped up towards Temple, where the Glocks should, at least on paper, come out on top. But Liquid, the individuals, too good. Fast and furious retake. Complexity, though, they got the bomb down, got a couple of kills there, 3 kills in fact, so they will be able to eke out a very, very comfortable buy. Scout in the hands of Junior. Couple of Galils, a Deagle for JT, and AK-47 for Floppy. Fang is going to lead the way. Galil in hand.
Looking to plunder the site one more time, our Complexity. They have the superior firepower, all things considered, but OC doesn't seem to care. He hasn't read the script. He's making his own moves, his own waves, decided to crash against Complexity. It won't deny the bomb plant, though. That incendiary will do significant damage if JT doesn't reposition, which he has from behind the pillar, out into the open. From the frying pan into the fire, but he shows himself quite the formidable adversary as he frags left and right. Naf, his last player standing, goes in for the spray, tags Floppy down to 20, but Complexity's full force has proved to be successful.
What a round from Floppy. Just spinning around like a death top, getting kills in every direction. 4K for him there. And that round, Liquid, they could not stop the flop. Huge kills coming out. every single direction. And for Liquid, yeah, that's a bit of that's gonna leave a bit of a dirty taste in your mouth, right? You win the pistol round pretty convincingly, and then Complexity, they snatch it back. Basically mirroring how the way the first couple of rounds played out there in the first half. As here we go, Force Buy will still be coming in for the side of Liquid. It's going to be pistols all around. We have a Scout in the hands of Elige, and Shoxy with the MP9. 3 players towards B. We have Elige with the Scout, and we've seen what he can do with that towards mid, but Complexity, they're keeping this one simple, Vince. All 5 members grouped up and waiting outside the B bomb site. They got a Molotov, 3 Molotovs, in fact, a multitude of smokes and a number of flashbangs. And you see the MAC-10 in the hands of JT. He is going to be leading the way here.
That's one of my concerns, is can he continue to frag this hard? And we'll have to find out. He goes in first, basically the sacrificial lamb, but he's still alive. No sacrifices today for Complexity. They'll be hitting double digits, or they will be putting down all of Liquid where they stand. Shot from Elige, as we saw in the first round with the Scout. He is very much a threat with this gun, but he has to piece out of that. And you were talking before about how the CT side can be a bastion where you can just pick up so many rounds, a real fortress for teams like Liquid. This is the perfect way to break that fortress down, to knock down a couple of those walls, to make it a little bit more penetrable. Just shutting down the economy, keeping Liquid in this strange, tipsy-turvy position with their finances. Like this next round, they're not really going to have much to buy. Yeah, sure, they can take a Scout and a 5-7 potentially into it. Complexity already at 10 rounds. That next rifle round for Liquid now is going to be so important in this game.
Oh, absolutely. And for Complexity right now, golden opportunity to get around number 11, right? It's going to be just a couple of saves, the Scout and the save. I think it was a Deagle there to work with here for Liquid. You got to go back to the earlier game we had between Spirit and Astralis, and Spirit just completely demolished Astralis on Ancient. And I think a lot of us would agree that the Astralis are right now the best team on that map. So yeah, Liquid coming into this game, they have a winning record on this map against Complexity. It's a map that they're very comfortable on, but sometimes Ancient can be a cruel mistress. We have the 5-7. That's about it from the previous round, and the Scout. I like this triple boost. You bring it out once or a couple of times every half.
Let's be honest, Blair, this is the perfect time to utilize it. You have a Scout, you have a 5-7. You're basically in a round that, on paper, you should be losing. I don't think there's a better chance to pull this one out. However, Floppy, it just goes to show like how on point they are and how much they understand and read the situation. He's looking for it.
He knows. He just knows that's going to be the play. You hate to see it if you're a Liege. All right, Nitro, able to at least pick up an AK, and if you're Nitro, you are running for the hills, as Maiden sang once upon a time. OC, blinded, will be found by JT. I like how, even though they're moving as a pack, it's a well-drilled pack by Complexity, right? Like, the flashes are on point, the trading is on point, and JT, you asked, Vince, well, like, is he going to continue this, just fragging out? And sure, right now it's against just the pistols and whatnot, but he has shown that he's more than capable of holding his own against the superstars on the side of Liquid. Looking for more here, Nitro will be found out. JT is a drive-by death machine. He has encircled the entire map. The AK won't be saved. And Naf is going to be left alone here with a 5-7. But yeah, the buy is going to be coming in here for Liquid. Still, it's not going to be that great, especially because OC, the best sniper in North America right now, will not have his weapon of choice, and Complexity are now 11-8, 5 rounds away from taking the lead here in this must-win series for both the teams.
You see the impact as well that not being able to save that AK has. Nitro has to replenish his M4, meaning he only has a smoke, which is already tossed out. There's no kits, there's no incendiaries, there's no HEs. So they've got firepower, but they have got to make it work because there's very little plan B now on the side of Liquid, and that's why they're getting aggressive. That's why we're seeing Elige trade 1-for-1. Shock's getting aggressive out on construction as well. But in doing all of this, they've pretty much bypassed any A defense. The only defense they have is in Donut, and that's Nitro that's just joining the site now, and he's instantly eradicated by Fang. Now they need OC to go above and beyond. There's a slight gap in the smoke, but he can't fully exploit this. And he knows he has to stay alive for the rest of his teammates to get up close. Naf now joins joins the fray. Bit of damage done, but more flirtation than anything else. But now he does seal the deal alongside OC, who goes in for 2. Sprays down in a line. They know where Floppy is, but he's had so much impact. So many massive rounds in this game. Already 1 frag picked up to his name. Can he get 2 more? No, Shock shuts him down. And Liquid make their fairly lackluster buy with such little utility work. And it is at the cost of 3 players, but they're going to get some AKs out of this round as well.
OC was so instrumental there. Even though he didn't have his weapon of choice, huge kill onto towards Junior. He was in a very uncomfortable spot in all honesty. You know, he had the scout on the bomb side behind the boxes, not much room to maneuver. But a second kill he finds on the player deep inside the donut, that was instrumental. If he doesn't find that kill, them trying to stick that bomb is going to be nigh impossible. So huge round coming out from OC. And finally, maybe just stemming the bleeding for a while, as we do have a little bit of update from Stream A. Outsiders, after losing on Dust 2, the map pick, have picked up Force's map pick, and now that series is tied 1-1
Ooh. A 2-1 matchup, of course. The winner goes to the Legend stage. The loser will be 2-2. The same position the winner of this best of 3 will find themselves in as well. Of course, this, if you have just joined us, is an elimination match between the 2 NA hopes in the major. In the challenger stage, has been pretty rocky road for both of them. However, Complexity with the narrowest margin of leads. Junior taking the initiative. At one point he was 10-3, so he certainly slowed down a little bit in this game. That flash is perfect. No double frag though, as they're able to find a sanctuary of that archway. Naf goes in, hefty damage onto Grim and picks up the first. And so Liquid not only have the player advantage here, but HP bars running pretty low in Complexity as well.
This excursion though from Elige, they're going to know where the hit's going to be, and so they have no idea. Complexity probably thinking that Ruse might have worked out. They can rotate all the way back towards A, but Elige not finding anyone. They're still going to mill around towards that B bomb site, but finally, there we go. Slowly, they know the timing. Nitro is going to shift its attention towards the A bomb site, and OC once more has arrived. As Elige finds Fang in the meantime, it's a 2v4. Grim bleeding, hemorrhaging as he's walking in towards the bomb site.
Has to apply the pressure, and maybe Nitro is the man to snuff him out. What? Not Nitro missing a sitter, and Floppy spins into 2 headshots. Had no right to pull that off. And with about 11 seconds left, the bomb has been securely planted. Floppy goes in again as Elige peeks out by himself. Liquid are jumping into the fire like lemmings. And maybe, just maybe, Shox can wind back the years and pull off another clutch. Then if he doesn't, his team's in real trouble. Shox sprays down and digs them out of that ditch. But Liquid seems so content to beat 1 by 1 into Floppy, a man that's been possessed.
Oh boy, NT Floppy, NT. 21 kills for him. Joining his captain and delivering. That round had no business coming down to a 1v2 favoring Complexity. There's a 2v4. Liquid had the perfect read as to what was going to be transpiring, and Floppy is just a death machine, just a death ball, getting kills at will. And again, Shox having to come up clutch. Another 1v2 for him. But it really shouldn't have come to that. That was so very close. But for Complexity, considering that round should have been done and dusted before they even got the bomb down, the amount of damage they dealt rather in the direction of Liquid. Look at the money right now, Vince.
Yeah.
Even though they've won a couple of rounds back to back here, have Liquid. 4 members are sub $1,000, and Naf's the only one, and he's at 1,050. Barely any money left. You can see OC has got the op, smoke, and incendiary. So they at least have the weaponry and the arsenal here to battle out for this particular round. And you can see, if you look at the economic situation, Complexity as well, it's not that healthy either. Floppy, the only one is some cash to speak of. So this round is going to be very crucial. It's kind of a pivotal round for both the sides. If Complexity can somehow steal this round away from Liquid, they could easily go on a couple of round streaks.
Oh, this could break Liquid completely in this entire map if they can get a little bit of consistency. But it's OC now that takes over Donut from Nitro, who's had 2 pretty lackluster rounds in a row, to be completely honest. He's had very little impact. He's a man that is very self-aware. He'll realize this. Maybe that's why OC is positioning now with the AWP. And so far, so good, but he's missed his shot, and there's no punish. There it is. Finally comes in from Temple, making sure that OC's life is not in vain. Shot lands onto Junior. 16 HP remains for him. And as they look to try and switch over and pivot towards the B side of the map where Shox is waiting. He's had a good game so far. Multiple clutches, loads of impact. And if he peeks out, he may find Floppy. Floppy's past him, but he knows. He's heard JT. He knows the plant's coming down. There's one spray, there's two. Bomb gets denied. And Junior in no position to fight this. And in all honesty, with 45 seconds left, he may be thinking about saving, but may not be afforded that luxury because here comes Naf. Only one bullet required. 11 to 11. We're all tied up. And as you touched on before, Blair, the economy from Complexity is hardly good itself. So they may be in trouble now.
Oh, absolutely. And right now, this is when we're going to be seeing the half-ice coming out here. Huge round coming out from Shox on that B-bomb site, right? And just Floppy, he did everything perfectly. He was alert. He was walking impatiently into B while the remainder of his teammates were making so much of a commotion towards A. And he just forgets to check the cubby. And that's when Shox strikes. And even his target selection was perfect. He knew the bomb was being planted. He doesn't go for the guy planting the bomb. He goes for Floppy first and then executes the guy who is putting the punching in the numbers on the C4 because there was nothing he could do at that point, and Shox is just pretty much shutting down the round pretty much by his lonesome. His top fragging as well right now in the server is Shox. So if people had question marks about him being a liability, at least on this map, he is showing why he is such an important element in his team. The veterancy, it shines through. He doesn't have to be as clean as many other players. I take his name though, he gets taken down by Naf. Immediate trade. Now that was the only AK-47 being purchased there by Complexity. The rest of them just the Deagles. This should be pretty easy pickings here for the remaining members of Liquids. Nitro slowly peeling back towards Donut. Bit of an off angle.
Getting one, if they line up, he'll spray them down. Very fortunate to get all three of them. They did run into his bullets and tank them to the forehead. Would not recommend that at home. And now JT, who was weakened, has been finished off. Liquid take the lead. I think you see there, though, Floppy's thought process is he's so opportunistic. There was a molly went down, then got extinguished by smoke, and it left a gap in the smoke long enough that he could see the left side of the back side of the site. And so he was up close once that smoke cleared. He completely caught Shox unaware. Shox had no idea. He didn't think he could be in that position. A little cool opportunistic moment from Floppy. Won't yield them the round, obviously, but now they have full AK-47s.
Floppy is just looked incredible in this team, right? So people might argue, might say that Grim might have the better mechanics as opposed to Floppy, but Floppy for me is the best player in this team, and is showing why. OC, in the meantime, however, is going to find JT. A lot of aggression towards mid here from the CTs. The Nitro chiming in with a frag of his own, and OC is trapped inside of the smoke, but he's got bodyguards around as Grim is getting peppered from all directions. A flash will pop as well. OC inside of the smoke, tossing in a flash, enabling Elige to get an easy kill as well. And this is just falling apart for Complexity. And for Liquid, sure, the couple of rounds they won back-to-back were a little close, but right now, they are starting to come alive. Junior left now, 1 versus 4. And Nitro and OC are kind of low, but this is going to require a gargantuan effort from Junior.
Especially as two players are on the site. So even if he gets one, which he doesn't, there was a backup player there. There were pincer movements coming in across the map. 13-11, now the score. And Complexity in an awkward position where they could feasibly try and squeak out a buy. They're in a very strange spot. I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if they called a tactical timeout to figure out what to do next. They could go in for a half of like Tech-9 Deagle half buy. They could even squeak out a few Galils here and maybe a couple of AK-47s. They're in a very dicey, strange, uncomfortable position here where they know that if they take their foot off the gas, then Liquid could start to cruise towards the finish line.
Oh, absolutely. And considering what a pretty solid start they had here in the second half, it's going to be crushing for JT and his merry men if Liquid just run away with this. But Liquid right now are on fire, as you can clearly see at the top of your screens. And the past few rounds, the past couple of rounds they've won have been very convincing, and that is what is worrying. You look at the money. You remember it was all virtually everyone was broke. Right now, though, we have an average of about $5,000 for a NAF, Elige, and OC. Nitro a little bit low on funds. Shox kind of broke, but that's okay. They have the weaponry, they have the utility, they have the funds. And for Complexity, it's going to be pistols once more. Upgraded pistols, however. They got Deagles, a lot of utility as well. They're running it through the flames and burning alive. Barbecue right outside of Jaguar. Shox looking for more, and he's going to find more indeed. Junior Floppy remain. Floppy at least able to stop Nafly. But Shox is looking for more. Potentially even looking for the 8, which he won't find his floppy. Another kill, but OC and Elijah there to make sure that it doesn't get up to any further shenanigans. 14-11 for Liquid. 2 remain for them to take us to map number 2.
What a beautiful read as well from Nitro. Whoever made that call. Not only did they have them dead to rights with the idea it would be a half buy, but look at this utility. That's 2 Molotovs on top of each other with HEs on top of it. I think the 2 mollies did like 300 or 400 damage just by the 2 of them. It burned 1 player out, another couple were on 10 HP. Like, it doesn't get any sweeter than that for Liquid.
Absolutely. Great read there. You know, they knew it was going to be probably a light buy, and they immediately went for the utility being dunked in. Because obviously, you know, when you have light buy, many times teams just go for that faster B play, right? Or just try and swarm towards Jaguar. But Liquid seem to have Complexity's number. OC is being very brave. The scope is going to be heard. Perhaps not. Oh, a missed shot though, but Napla is there to save the day. That's the bomb taken down as well as Fang. However, will find Elige at the entrance of A. The bomb has been spotted, and that means it's a time for Nitro to deliver here. Are they going to check the angle? It's a question they won't, and Nitro is going to find Grim.
Fang knows where he is, but may not realize there's a second player there in the form of Naf. Nitro loses his head. Fang does know. But more importantly than knowing, he makes something of it. He takes his chance and runs. 5 HP left, but he has JT alongside. Such an important moment in this game. Perhaps the best of 3. Perhaps Complexity's very survival hinges on them being able to clutch this round out and make it theirs. Make Liquid sweat a little bit more. OC on 13 HP. There's plenty of funds on him and Nitro, plus a leech, but it shocks on 1700, where he may think twice about going in for this. However, if he backs off and watches mid, he may get a pick. It seems like Liquid are at least toying with the idea of backing out, but because time is so scarce, they will have to fully commit to this A site. OC is going for it. Full faith in himself, his own abilities, and Fang comes in with a 4K and keeps Complexity alive.
That was incredible from Fang, finding both the kills there, although I felt like the spacing was a little bit off there from the side of Liquid. That round should really have been Liquid's, but heroics coming out from the individuals of this Complexity side. We've seen Floppy have his moments, now Fang chiming in as well. And the AWP as well picked up, dropped into the hands of Junior. For Liquid, we spoke about a cash the previous round, said they still have funds to work with. However, for Complexity, if they're able to weather the storm of round number 27, and they can break the money bins, they can tie things up. This is still not over. As Nap, however, finds Floppy through the smoke all the way near T-spawn, and now Liquid going in for the Constrictor move, not allowing much space here for Complexity to work with. And Complexity, they're fine just biding the time for the time being, but they have lost Floppy.
And because they're taking so much time, Liquid are just flowing into these positions. They're getting out first. They've got construction locked down. This gives them control over the doorway. It gives them control over mid as well. This is so well played from Liquid, but all it takes is for one well-timed, well-placed flashbang, and they can still explode out here Complexity and get some success. It looks like they're going to be on the very brink of doing so. They have counter-flash, anti-flash positions from Shox, who's hiding in the angle. OC can take the shot, then fall back. And if they feel compelled to do so, there's a second player there. Shox comes in, though, and proving he doesn't need any backup. Spraying down 2, and Junior's position is compromised. They know exactly where he is. The only thing working in his favor is he has the bomb, but he's lost so much health through that smoke. 42 remains. He's being pincered from the B site on a leash. 3 players coming from mid. And it feels like he's living on borrowed time, and they're about to collect in full. Surprised that shot didn't land, but it doesn't make any difference. Naf shuts him down. Liquid have 3 map points.
Shox is taking no prisoners, Vince. He is taking no prisoners whatsoever. It looked like things could have potentially spiraled out of control because he was walking down towards double doors the moment the Complexity started to walk out of it. But JT, unfortunately, caught looking the wrong way. What a round from Shox again. And this is Liquid just kind of putting the stamp, the seal of authority on the CD side. If somehow they had kind of fumbled that and Complexity won the round, this could be 14-14, but they survived, they keep 4 players alive, and with that, now Complexity This could be it. Potential final round. Map point for Liquid on their map pick. Followed, of course, by Vertigo, the pick of Complexities, and Overpass if we do indeed go that way. And I said it earlier as well, if I'm Liquid, I'm looking closest one out 2-0.
I think quite a few people expected that to be the case. This performance has had some pretty cool moments. And I would say, considering the situation currently, this is a vintage Shox performance. We've seen clutches, we've seen huge moments, big sprays. He's been so present, so prevalent in this map. And now Complexity on a rough buy. Have lost 2 players to OC's hands as he executes Grim and Floppy. And Complexity now circling the drain on Ancient. Mac 10 for JT. He has been such a powerhouse, such a huge player, but he's about to get swung in, and that's the bomb that goes down with him as well. Meanwhile, in mid, Elage makes short work of Junior. And although Fang posts up a last stand of 1 frag, even if he gets a second, which he won't, it won't matter a great deal. Liquid get it done on Ancient. They are 1 map away from eliminating Complexity.
Good resurgence there coming out from Liquid at the very end. Honestly, it felt like Complexity, there were some signs of life there, Vince. Like, even though Liquid had a substantial number of rounds accrued in the first half, 17 rounds on Ancient, you're going to be feeling mighty comfortable. But then you head into the second half, and Complexity actually showing that they are pretty capable on this map. But I love how Liquid are able to kind of